Hi guys, it's Blackie, and if it's Friday, it's Down and Dirty Woodscraft. Okay, today guys, we're going to be talking about knife sharpening and a little tip that most people don't pay attention to, and it's the details is what we're trying to do. Now in a minute I'm going to show you the technique, and I brought my sharpening stuff with me, but I want to show you something with the actual knives just a second. Now, let's start with all this stuff sticking in my pocket, so just bear with me a second, There we go. Let's take this Opinel. An Opinel is a very thin blade knife. As you can see, I need to clean that one up. It's getting a little bit of rust on it. It's one of the reasons I brought it out and decided to do this. But look how thin that edge is. That thing is just hard to see. But if you look at it edge on, and this is something I want you to learn when you're about to try to sharpen a knife, maybe a knife you're not familiar with yet. I want you to take it and get against a good background where you can see the edge good. Don't want any light coming. You want a background that you can see it against. I want you to hold it out there at arm's level with the edge facing you and true it up as thin as it can and look at it. See if the blade is straight up and down or if it's an offset slightly. That makes a difference, because the handle in folding knives or whatever may not be truly in the center, and I'll show you that for sure in just a second. But it can also be true on a belt knife as well, because when you come up and it's handled that way, it's not necessarily square to the edge. Now on this Hella knife, it is square to the edge. And when I hold it out there at arm's length and I it is straight up and down off of that, and there's no curve to that blade at all. So all the way from the tip all the way to the base is straight. And what that tells me is when I put it onto the sharpening steel, it's going to be the same from beginning to end. It's not going to bend. But now here comes the twist. You know your Swiss Army knife you carry in your pocket? I bet you most of you never noticed the blade's bent from the factory. The blade's bent. It's bent intentionally. Now this is a Fieldmaster. It depends on the blade how bad it is, but most Swiss Army knives, or even this style, ain't even got to be a true Swiss, the military knives and etc. have this feature. When you look at it, you look at all the blades laying in there, and this blade right here is the large blade, and you notice how the small blade is beside it. You notice how it's at an angle. When you open it up and you level this up, you'll find that the blade actually twists. It twists to go around the small blade. So whenever you hold it up here straight and look at it, you'll see that the tip actually twists away from you a little bit. Holding it edge on and looking at it, you can see it even more. It's like it leans just a little bit. Well, it does that to kind of bend around the smaller blade. That means that when I go to sharpen it, I have to be aware of that. Because if I put that, and we're going to use the Hella for a larger, easier to see. Okay. Now with a Hella, and this being, I'm going to use the back side of it. If that blade is bent, when I put it down here, and let's say this tip now curls up, I go across, and I get right about that, and that tip's going to be actually rising off. So I have to raise my hand up to make that tip stay in contact. Coming the other way, the tip's going to dig in first and not the main blade. So that means that this section on the coming toward me, that this tip is bent down, this to this is not going to make good contact. So I'll have sharp edge here, and dull there. Reversing it, go away from me, I will have dull from there to there, because it's not staying in contact. So you need to, when you're going to sharpen a knife, especially one you're not familiar with, get up there and look at it first, make sure it's not bent. It can become bent, and you're batoning and you're splitting and you're bearing down trying to cut through there. A steel blade may bend a little. Even the best blades could possibly bend a little bit. And so you need to look and see, is the blade still true straight up and down? Has it warped a little bit? Well, now when I get up here and I'm going to sharpen my knife, I want to get up there and make sure that blade stays in contact. I get up there, I get the proper angle. You dip down, you feel it. Get off that bevel. Now I'm on the edge. And as I'm pulling it, make sure that edge stays totally. Because if I get like this and I start going, and right there that tip raises up, there's no, I'm back here on this part of the blade, I'm not on the tip. I have to stay on the tip the whole way. Do it slowly to see. Now, let's shift over to the offending element and talk and show you that up close. And that is the Swiss Army knife I just spoke of. Now, that edge, now I'll use the back right here. When I put that edge down flat like that, I can see daylight right there. Looking down, I got a click because of this large bolster. I get up there and I go to start, and I think I'm on the edge, and I'm actually on this bolster, and it's acting as a spacer. I want to be on, again, the edge. Now when I get up there, I am full length contacting, but right about there I start seeing daylight. Alright, so I would pull and then lift up to do the tip. Coming back, I would do the tip, and then, so it's going to be this kind of motion. Up and in, up and in, as I roll like that. So it's hit, push down and through, hit, twist up and two, push, down and two, pull tip first. And that way I maintain contact the full length of that edge. See? Because if I'm not making contact the full length of that edge, I'm not doing anything, I'm just making noise. See? If I go back this way, I have to lift off because the blade actually curves. So that's the back, that's the edge toward you, that's the back. It actually curves to the left. So it'd be dig in and push, dig in and push. You can do it that way. But the tip's got to go first, because if I just straight pull it like this, the tip is actually not getting sharpened. When I do like that, that tip, I can see it's actually off the stone slightly. And I do this full stroke, and on that last half inch, I'd actually touch it. And I go up here and I'd go to lay up flat like that. Well, my tip is actually digging in, and right here in the middle, I got an air gap. Not much, but enough that I can tell. So I got to bear down and pull it like that. Now the way I sharpen a Swiss Army knife, because of that bent blade design, is like this. I will do 5 strokes on the side. So I'll get up here, I'll get my angle right, make sure I'm good. Bear down, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each time I'm lifting my hand off, I'll go tip first this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back tip first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I will check my edge. Wipe it off, get the slurry off of it. These are diamond hones, by the way. And I want to put my thumb and come from the back of the blade and push away. I will feel if there's a wire edge. Okay? And there is not on it. Now, with these very thin blades, like a Swiss Army knife, and definitely with a little open L, you have to keep the two sides even. Because with a larger belt knife, like one of my Blackbirds or whatever, or this Hella knife, it's thick enough spine, and then you have the actual body of the knife, then you have the bevel, and then down here's the actual edge of the knife. So if I get one side or the other off, it's kind of obvious. You can look at it the same way you push up from the back and look for that wire edge. What a wire edge is is where you've gone too far on one side, and instead of it being perfectly even, one side's kind of got thin and rolled over. So when I come up this side, I'm going to drag that hook. Okay, all I got to do is make sure I eliminate that. When I get to the finished product, neither side should have a wire edge. It should be a smooth on both sides. Now, once you have created your edge, honing it is a good idea. Now, many of you in bushcraft wear these Viking sharpening stones. I use mine a lot in the field. It rides in the top of my blackbird haversack. And it's a great little knife to have for honing in the field. I don't want to have to sharpen no more than I have to. Sharpening means I've dulled the metal down to the point I need to recreate the edge. I need to actually file off metal. Honing is I need to polish that edge. And so by just spitting on this to get a little bit of moisture on it, coming up here like this and very carefully following that edge, about 10 strokes on each side, swapping sides every 2 strokes, I will polish that edge. So, in conclusion, look at the knife. Look at the edge of the knife that you're going to be sharpening. Most people never knew that a Swiss Army knife blade's bent. And most people will complain that they're hard to sharpen. They're hard to sharpen because the blade's not straight. And you lay it up there flat and you go to sawing and there's gaps. Because this making contact and this has got air and this is making contact. You flip it over and this has got, and your edge starts doing that because of the contact. See, the whole thing is whatever knife blade you're about to sharpen, even one you've had for a while, always stop and look at it in a good light and make sure it's straight. If it has got bent, it can still be used. You've not ruined the universe. You just need to make sure you follow the contour of the edge and keep it that way. Now, one final note before I go. If you don't like the large flat stones like this, then one of the round diamond hones. And I quite often will carry a round diamond hone in the field for sharpening. And then that Viking home stone rides along as the hone, the polisher, the finisher. Okay. If I get a ding in the kukri or whatever, or something I need to address this, you know, that's when the hone comes out, the diamond rod comes out. And then this is used to follow the edge like a file would be. Some people do this better by making the blade stationary and following it with a round file, a round sharpener. That may be something you want to do. Maintaining your blades in the field is an important skill for us as woodsmen, because a dull knife has very few uses. Yes, in scraping hides from deers and stuff, yeah, a dull knife's good. Very few other things is a dull knife really good for anything. We want our knives to stay sharp, our cutting edges to be straight, so that when we're using them, they perform as we want them to do. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like, share, and subscribe down there before you go. And please leave any questions or comments down below. I'll be happy to hear from you and answer them as best I can. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.